They whisper your name when you walk in the room. They wonder why you don't react the way they expect. They test you, push you, throw stones at your peace, but you don't flinch. And that right there is what's driving them crazy. Because you are unbothered, you are untouchable. And nothing disturbs a fragile soul more than someone who refuses to be shaken. You see, when you reach a level of inner peace, a level of self-control, a level of knowing who you are and what you stand for, people can't handle it. They will do everything in their power to shake you, but they will fail. And that's when their frustration turns into obsession. Let them talk. Let them scheme. Let them throw their little storms at you. You keep walking. You keep moving forward. Because your silence, your indifference, your peace, that's what destroys them the most. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you own. It's not just your physical stamina, it's your emotions, your mental clarity, your spirit, and your ability to focus on what truly matters. Every time you allow negativity, drama, or unnecessary distractions to drain you, you're giving away something that cannot be easily replenished. People often take energy for granted, thinking it's endless, but the truth is, every moment you spend on something that doesn't serve you is a moment lost forever. Imagine your energy as money. Would you hand out your hard-earned cash to people who don't appreciate or respect it? Would you let just anyone reach into your bank account, take what they want? If the answer is no, then why do you allow people to rob you of your mental and emotional resources without a second thought? The key to staying unbothered is to realize that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people thrive on stealing your peace, exhausting your patience, and feeding off your reactions. The moment you understand this, you become selective. You no longer waste energy on meaningless battles or situations that do not elevate you. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy, and how you choose to distribute it will determine the quality of your life. The reason some people are constantly drained, frustrated, or overwhelmed is that they haven't mastered the art of protecting their energy. They allow minor inconveniences to ruin their mood, entertain pointless arguments, and engage with toxic people who only bring chaos. The reality is, not everything and everyone deserves a response. Your peace should be guarded with the same intensity as a treasure chest, because once it's taken from you, it's hard to get back. It's not your job to fix people who refuse to change. It's not your responsibility to explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. And it is definitely not your duty to fight battles that do not align with your purpose. Every time you entertain unnecessary conflict, you weaken yourself. Every time you react to petty behavior, you lower your standards. The ability to walk away, to remain unshaken, to protect your inner peace, that is a skill only the strongest possess. Being unbothered doesn't mean being passive or uncaring. It means understanding that your energy is sacred and you don't owe it to just anyone. The people who truly value you will respect your time, your peace, and your mental well-being. But those who seek to drain you will constantly look for ways to provoke a reaction. They want to see you angry, upset, or flustered because that gives them power over you. The moment you stop giving them that satisfaction, you take your power back. You shift from being someone who is controlled by external forces to someone who operates from a place of inner strength. It takes discipline to not engage in drama, to not react to every insult, to not be affected by every little inconvenience. But when you master this, life becomes lighter. You find yourself free from the weight of unnecessary stress, and you begin to move with purpose. Your focus sharpens, your energy increases, and most importantly, you stop wasting yourself on things that don't deserve you. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they have an obligation to respond to everything that comes their way. But in reality, silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. Some people thrive on conflict. They live for the moment you lose your cool because that means they have control over you. But when you refuse to react, when you remain centered, it drives them insane. They don't know what to do with someone who is emotionally disciplined. Your refusal to engage frustrates them more than any words ever could. The truth is, people can only drain you if you let them. If someone is constantly bringing negativity into your life, ask yourself, why are you still entertaining them? If a situation is consistently stealing your peace, why are you still giving attention? Not everything deserves your energy, and the moment you start filtering what is and doesn't, your life will change. You'll have more energy for the things that matter and less for the things that drain you. Think about how many times you've let small things ruin your day. A rude comment, a minor inconvenience, an unnecessary argument, all of these things have the power to shift your mood if you let them. But why should they? Why should something so insignificant have that much control over you? The answer is they shouldn't. The moment you decide to stop giving your energy away for free, you take control of your emotional world. You start choosing where your energy goes, who has access to you, and what you allow to affect you. This shift isn't easy. It requires awareness, discipline, and self-respect. It requires knowing that your peace is worth more than proving a point. It means understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. People who are easily triggered, easily manipulated, and easily thrown off course never reach their highest potential. But those who learn to guard their energy, to be selective with their reactions, and to stay unbothered, they thrive. Protecting your energy is about setting boundaries, clear, firm, and unapologetic boundaries. Some people won't like it. They'll call you cold, distant, or even selfish. But understand this, the people who truly care about you will respect your need for peace. The ones who get upset, they were only there to take advantage of your energy in the first place. When you begin setting limits on who and what can access your time, your emotions, and your focus, you start noticing something powerful. You feel lighter. You feel freer. You realize how much of your exhaustion came from giving away energy to things that didn't deserve it. And once you experience this shift, you won't ever want to go back. The peace that comes from being selective with your energy is priceless. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, your goals, your growth. And nothing disturbs people more than someone who is truly content, truly at peace, and completely unbothered by their opinions or expectations. There will always be people who try to pull you into chaos. They will test your patience, try to provoke you, and see if they can drag you into their drama. But their attempts are only successful if you let them be. The moment you stop entertaining the nonsense, they lose their power over you. It's a form of emotional self-defense, learning to step back instead of stepping into battles that aren't worth your energy. Think of your mind as a house. Would you allow just anyone to walk in and trash the place? No, you lock your doors, you set security measures, and you only allow people inside who respect the space. Your energy should be treated the same way. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your emotions, or reactions. The stronger your boundaries, the more peaceful your life becomes. And the more peaceful your life becomes, the more successful, focused, and happy you will be. Your energy is yours and yours alone. Don't let the world convince you that you owe it to everyone. You don't. You owe it to yourself to protect it. Silence is one of the most powerful weapons you possess, yet so many people underestimate its strength. In a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, where people rush to respond, defend, and prove themselves, the ability to remain silent is a skill that sets you apart. People expect reactions. They expect arguments. They expect you to explain, to justify, to engage. But when you choose silence instead, it unsettles them, it confuses them, it makes them uncomfortable. Because silence is not weakness, it is control. It is strategy. It is a force that shifts the balance of power. The person who can sit in silence, who does not need to prove a point, who does not feel the urge to respond to every provocation, is the person who holds the real power. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. It forces people to question themselves, to wonder what you're thinking, to fill in the gaps with their own insecurity. Silence is not empty, it is full of meaning, full of strength, full of calculated intention. And when you master the ability to use it wisely, you become untouchable. People fear silence more than they fear loud words. A raised voice can be ignored, dismissed, or argued with, but silence lingers, it haunts. It makes people feel the weight of their own words, their own mistakes, their own actions. When you respond with silence, you force others to reflect, to sit with the consequences of what they have said or done. Most people cannot handle this. They would rather you yell, argue, or fight back because that gives them an opening. That gives them the reaction they crave. But when you deny them that, when you give them nothing to work with, it unsettles them to their core. They start to question themselves. They replay the situation in their minds, wondering what you're planning, why you didn't react the way they expected. Silence is the mirror that forces people to see themselves for who they truly are. It reveals the truth without you ever having to say a word. That is why it is such a dangerous weapon. And that is why those who understand its power use it with precision. Silence is a sign of discipline, of strength, of self-mastery. It takes control to resist the urge to react. It takes intelligence to understand that not every battle is worth fighting. Not every word needs a response. and not every attack deserves retaliation. The strongest people are not the ones who shout the loudest, but the ones who remain composed when chaos surrounds them. Think about the most powerful individuals in any situation. They are not the ones who scream. They are the ones who observe, who analyze, who choose their words carefully. When you learn to stay silent in moments where others expect you to react, you shift the power dynamic. You take control of the situation without lifting a finger. You force people to deal with their own emotions instead of feeding them yours. And in doing so, you become untouchable. People may try to provoke you, they may try to push you, they may even insult you, but when you give them nothing, they are left fighting their own shadows. There is wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. Most people talk too much because they are uncomfortable with silence. They fear the unknown, the unanswered, the unsaid. But you must understand that sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. When someone disrespects you, when someone doubts you, when someone tries to bait you into an argument, your silence is what will destroy them. Because silence shows you are above the nonsense. Silence shows you are in control. Silence forces them to sit with their own insecurity, their own frustration, their own need for validation. The moment you stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds is the moment you set yourself free. The moment you stop arguing with fools is the moment you reclaim your peace. Not everyone deserves your words, your time, your energy. And when you understand this, you stop giving yourself away for free. Silence is the language of the disciplined. It is the art of knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on meaningless conversations and empty battles. When you refuse to react, you refuse to give others power over you. Some people thrive on conflict. They feed off of your emotions, your anger, your frustration. But when you take that away from them, they are left with nothing. They scramble to regain control, to get you engaged, to make you react. But you don't. You sit back, you observe, you move in silence. And that right there is what drives them crazy. Because they cannot figure you out. They cannot predict your next move. They cannot control you. Silence is unpredictable and people fear what they cannot anticipate. That is why it is so dangerous. That is why it is so powerful. And that is why when used wisely, it can shift the course of any situation in your favor. People who lack control over their emotions are easy to manipulate. They react without thinking. They speak before understanding. They argue for the sake of being heard, not for the sake of resolution. But those who are truly powerful, those who hold real influence, understand the value of silence. They know that sometimes the best way to win an argument is to not have it at all. They know that not every insult requires a response. They know that some things are beneath them. And because of that, they remain untouchable. When you stop needing to prove yourself to people who don't matter, when you stop engaging with negativity, when you stop giving your energy to situations that drain you, you become unstoppable. Your silence will confuse them. It will frustrate them and make them question themselves. And in the end, it will force them to deal with their own weaknesses. Silence is not just about refusing to engage. It is about moving in a way that others cannot predict. Some of the most powerful moves you will ever make in life will be made in silence. Not everyone needs to know your next step. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts. Not everyone should be able to anticipate your decisions. The more you talk, the more you reveal. The more you reveal, the more vulnerable you become. But when you learn to move in silence, to observe without speaking, to act without announcing, you gain an advantage that few people will ever understand. Because while they are busy talking, you are busy executing. While they are busy arguing, you are busy elevating. While they are busy trying to figure you out, you are already 10 steps ahead. That is the power of silence. That is the strength of self-control. The strongest people in the world are not the loudest. They are the ones who understand the power of restraint. The ones who know that silence is not submission, it is strategy. It is wisdom. It is the ability to stand in the middle of chaos and not be moved by it. When you master the art of silence, you master the art of control. And when you master the art of control, you become a force that cannot be shaken, cannot be manipulated, and cannot be broken. People expect you to react. They want you to respond emotionally, to defend yourself, to engage in battles that don't serve you. They poke, they provoke, they push, all to get a reaction. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you take control of your emotions instead of letting them be controlled, that's the moment you start winning. Most people lose because they play a game they were never supposed to play. They argue when they should be silent. They react when they should observe. They engage when they should walk away. But when you stop giving in to emotional impulses, you rise above the noise. You stop giving people the satisfaction of knowing they can manipulate your emotions. You stop being predictable, and that's when every shift's in your favor. The ability to control your reactions is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck in endless cycles of frustration and conflict. Your reaction is what people feed on. Your reaction is what gives them power over you. But the moment you refuse to react, the moment you detach from the chaos, the moment you stay calm when everything around you is pushing you to break, you win. Winning doesn't always come from fighting back. Sometimes winning is found in your ability to remain unshaken when people expect you to fall apart. The strongest people in the world are not the ones who argue the loudest, not the ones who throw the biggest tantrums, but the ones who can walk away from a situation without feeling the need to prove themselves. Not every comment deserves a response. Not every insult deserves your energy. Not every challenge is meant for you to take on. People who react to everything, who take everything personally, who let every little thing get under their skin, they are the ones who lose control. And when you lose control, you lose power. When you lose power, you become easy to manipulate. The ones who win in life are not the ones who fight every battle, but the ones who want to know which battles are even worth fighting. And more often than not, the battles people try to drag you into are not worth a second of your time. When you stop reacting to the nonsense, when you stop feeding into negativity, when you stop allowing yourself to be emotionally swayed by irrelevant people, you reclaim your peace. Control over your reactions is control over your destiny. People who cannot control their emotions are slaves to their environment. They let external forces dictate their mood, their actions, their decisions. They allow negativity to pull them into situations they were never meant to be in. But those who master their reactions, those who can be in the middle of chaos and remain unshaken, those who can hear criticism and not flinch, those who can be underestimated and not feel the need to prove themselves, those are the people who rise. Those are the people who truly win in life. When you stop reacting, you start observing. You start seeing people for who they really are. You start understanding the motives behind their words, their actions, their behavior. You gain clarity. And clarity is power. When you react emotionally, you cloud your judgment. You let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions, but when you take a step back, when you breathe, when you analyze instead of reacting, you gain control. And in this world, control is everything. The ability to remain calm, the ability to move with precision, the ability to dictate your own actions instead of letting them be dictated for you, that is what puts you ahead of everyone else. People will try to get under your skin because they know that if they can make you react, they can control you. They will say things just to provoke you. They will do things just to get a rise out of you. And if you take the bait, you lose. But when you don't react, when you don't give them the satisfaction of controlling your emotions, you frustrate them. You take away their power. You leave them confused, wondering why their words and actions no longer affect you. That's the real victory. Not proving them wrong, not engaging in arguments, not winning the battle of words, but winning the battle of self-control. The person who stays calm when others expect them to explode, the person who remains silent when others expect them to defend themselves, the person who walks away when others expect them to stay, that person wins every time. When you stop reacting, you start making decisions from a place of power instead of a place of emotion, and decisions made from power always lead to better outcomes. The greatest form of self-respect is discipline over your emotions. Weak people react to everything. They take everything personally. They let small things ruin their entire day, but strong people understand that their energy is too valuable to be wasted on insignificant things. They understand that not every argument is worth their words. They understand that their peace is more important than being right. The moment you stop letting people dictate how you feel, the moment you stop giving people control over your emotions, you step into a different level of power. You become unstoppable. Because now no one can break you with words. No one can control you with manipulation. No one can bait you into reacting. You move on your own terms. You choose your battles. You respond only when necessary, and even then you do it with precision, not emotion. That is the difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck. The ones who rise understand that reacting is a trap. And once you stop falling for the trap, you start winning in ways that most people will never understand. The world rewards those who can remain calm under pressure. People who react emotionally are always at a disadvantage. They make rash decisions. They say things they regret. They engage in conflicts that drain them instead of elevate them. But those who remain composed, Those who move strategically, those who operate from a place of control instead of impulse, they are the ones who win in the long run. Winning isn't about proving people wrong in the moment. It's about positioning yourself in a way where their words and actions have no impact on your progress. It's about moving in silence, letting success be the loudest response, and refusing to be pulled into unnecessary battles. Because the moment you stop reacting, you stop giving people access to your emotions. You stop allowing them to dictate your actions. You take back control. And control is the foundation of every success story. There is strength in restraint. There's power in patience. There's wisdom in choosing silence over reaction. The people who rise to the top are not the ones who engage in every fight, who react to every insult, who spend their time proving themselves to those who don't matter. The people who rise to the top are the ones who stay focused, who remain disciplined, who understand that their energy is too valuable to be wasted on things that do not contribute to their growth. The moment you stop reacting negativity, the moment you stop engaging with people who do not serve your purpose, the moment you start choosing peace over conflict, you win. And the best part, the people who once had power over you, the people who used to get a reaction out of you, the people who used to control your emotions will be left powerless. Because without your reaction, they have nothing. Without your response, they have no fuel. And that is how you win without ever having to fight. Too many people spend their lives chasing validation from those who don't even know their own worth. They bend over backward trying to impress people who are lost themselves. They change who they are, they shrink themselves, they compromise their own happiness, all to gain approval from people who don't even respect themselves. But here's the truth. If someone doesn't value their own life, their own worth, their own purpose, how can their validation ever mean anything? How can their approval hold any weight? You are looking for reassurance in people who don't even know how to love themselves. You are waiting for acknowledgement from people who don't even acknowledge their own potential. And the moment you realize that their opinion has no power over your destiny, you set yourself free. Because the truth is, people who don't value themselves will never be able to see value in you. They will project their insecurities onto you. They will minimize your accomplishments. They will act unimpressed, not because you aren't impressive, but because they don't even see themselves as worthy of greatness. And if they can't see it in themselves, they will never see it in you. Chasing validation is a losing game, especially when you're chasing it from people who are struggling with their own identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they stand for. They haven't done the work to develop confidence in themselves. And yet you allow their words to shape your reality. You let their lack of excitement make you question yourself. You let their indifference make you feel small. But the truth is, their lack of enthusiasm has nothing to do with you. It's a reflection of their own emptiness. Some people are so used to doubting themselves that they don't know how to celebrate others. Some people are so consumed by their own fears that they don't know how to appreciate someone who is thriving. You are looking for validation in places that have no light, no energy, no real foundation. And when you seek approval from people who don't even value themselves, you will always feel like you are not enough, because they will never give you what they haven't given themselves. And the moment you stop seeking, the moment you stop needing them to tell you you're good enough, you step into your own power. Your worth was never meant to be determined by people who haven't even figured out their own path. Too often people seek acceptance from those who don't even have their own life together. They allow broken people to define them. They let lost people set the standard for their success. They base their confidence on the opinions of individuals who are struggling with their own identity. But when you finally wake up and realize that these people have no authority over your greatness, everything changes. You start moving differently. You stop looking for confirmation. You stop second-guessing yourself based on their lack of enthusiasm. You stop trying to convince people who were never meant to understand your vision in the first place. Because not everyone will see your worth. Not everyone will recognize your potential. And that's okay. The right people will see it. The right people will appreciate it. The right people will celebrate it. But you will never find those people if you keep wasting time trying to impress the wrong ones. The ones who can't even see their own greatness will never recognize yours. And that is why their validation is meaningless. People who don't value themselves will always struggle to see value in others. They will downplay your success. They will minimize your accomplishments. They will act unimpressed, not because you haven't achieved anything, but because they don't even believe in their own potential. And if they can't believe in themselves, they certainly can't believe in you. That's why you have to stop seeking validation from the wrong people. That's why you have to stop expecting recognition from people who haven't done the work to recognize their own worth. Some people have spent so much time doubting themselves that they will automatically doubt you. Some people are so used to failure that they assume everyone else will fail too. Some people are so disconnected from their own greatness that they cannot comprehend yours. And if you base your confidence on their approval, you will always feel inadequate, because they will never give you what they don't have. They will never appreciate in you what they can't even see in themselves. And the moment you stop looking to them for validation, the moment you stop giving them the power to define your worth, you start living for yourself. The people who are most critical of you are often the ones who are most critical of themselves. They are not hard on you because you're not good enough. They are hard on you because they don't believe they are good enough. Their lack of self-worth spills over into how they treat others. Their inability to see greatness in themselves makes them blind to the blindness in you. And yet, so many people waste years of their lives trying to impress these individuals. They exhaust themselves trying to gain their approval. But why? Why work so hard to gain validation from people who don't even believe in themselves? Why look for love and appreciation from people who don't even know how to give it to themselves? It's a cycle of emptiness. You will never be enough for someone who isn't even enough for themselves. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you take back control over your own worth. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. You don't need their permission to be great. Your value is not determined by people who haven't even found their own. You will never feel fulfilled chasing validation from people who can't even validate themselves. People who are unhappy with their own lives will always find something wrong with yours. People who are insecure about their own worth will always try to diminish yours. And that has nothing to do with you. That is their battle. That is their struggle. That is their issue to deal with. But the moment you start taking their words personally, the moment you start internalizing their lack of enthusiasm, the moment you let their inability to celebrate you make you question yourself, that is when you lose. Because now you've given them power. Now you've allowed their brokenness to shape your reality. Now you've let people who don't even value themselves dictate how you feel about yourself. And that is the real danger of seeking validation in the wrong places. It makes you forget your own worth. It makes you think you are not enough when in reality you were always more than enough. You just needed to stop looking for approval from people who don't even approve of themselves. The most freeing moment in life is when you realize that you don't need validation from anyone. Not from people who don't believe in themselves. Not from people who are stuck in their own self-doubt. Not from people who can't even recognize their own potential. Your worth is not up for debate. Your greatness is not dependent on whether or not someone else acknowledges it. You do not need a round of applause from an audience that doesn't even understand the performance. Too many people waste time and energy trying to prove themselves to people who were never meant to see their vision. Too many people hold themselves back because they are waiting for confirmation from individuals who can't even confirm their own purpose. But the truth is, the moment you stop waiting for approval, the moment you stop seeking validation, the moment you stop needing people to recognize what you already know about yourself, you become unstoppable. Because now you are no longer relying on external validation to move forward. You are no longer waiting for permission to be great. You have already decided that you are enough, and that is all that matters. There comes a point in life where you realize that peace is the most valuable thing you have. It is more precious than money, more powerful than status, more rewarding than approval. When you have peace, you have clarity. You have freedom. You have control over your emotions. But the problem is, not everyone wants to see you at peace. Some people thrive on chaos. They live for the arguments, the negativity, the unnecessary drama, and if you are not careful, they will pull you into their storm just to break your calm. They will test you, provoke you, try to get a reaction out of you. Not because they have a real reason, but because they don't know how to function without conflict. They don't know how to exist without problems. And if you let them, they will drain you. They will rob you of your joy, your focus, your energy. That is why you must guard your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. The moment you trade your peace for someone else's chaos, you lose control. You let them dictate your mood, your energy, your focus. And no one deserves that kind of power over you. When people bring drama into your life, they are looking for a reaction. They feed off the chaos. They want to see you stressed. They want to see you angry. They want to see you lose control. Because the moment you react, they win. The moment you engage, they have accomplished their goal. And too often, people fall into this trap. They take the bait. They allow someone else's toxic energy to dictate their own emotions. But here's what you must understand. Peace is a choice. Just because someone tries to disturb your calm doesn't mean you have to let them. Just because someone brings negativity doesn't mean you have to accept it. You have the power to remove yourself. You have the power to walk away. You have the power to protect your peace at all costs. Some people are not worth your time. Some arguments are not worth your energy. Some battles are not meant to be fought. And the strongest person is not the one who reacts, it's the one who stays in control. It's the one who refuses to be dragged into unnecessary drama. It's the one who values their peace too much to trade it for nonsense. People will try to make you feel guilty for choosing peace. They will call you cold. They will say you don't care. They will try to make you feel bad for not engaging in their chaos. But that's only because they don't know how to function without it. They are addicted to negativity. They need the drama to feel important. And when they see you unbothered, when they see you refusing to engage, it frustrates them. Because now they have no control over you. Now they can't manipulate your emotions. Now they have lost their power. And that is why they try so hard to pull you in. They want you to argue. They want you to react. They want you to give them attention. But the greatest thing you can do is starve their drama. Ignore their attempts to disturb your peace. Walk away from their negativity. Refuse to let their chaos become your problem. Because once you realize that peace is more valuable than proving a point, you stop wasting your time on people who don't deserve it. You stop explaining yourself to people you don't even want to understand. You stop entertaining nonsense. Your peace is not up for negotiation. It is not something you trade for validation. It is not something you sacrifice to make other people comfortable. And yet so many people give it away so easily. They let small things ruin their day. They let people with no real importance get under their skin. They allow arguments that don't even matter to steal their focus. But when you understand the value of peace, you become selective about what you respond to. You realize that not everything requires your energy. Not every battle is worth fighting. Not every person is worth engaging with, because at the end of the day, your peace is your responsibility. No one can take it from you unless you allow them to. No one can disturb unless you give them access. And the moment you start treating your peace like the expensive, priceless thing that it is, everything changes. You stop reacting to things that don't deserve your time. You stop entertaining people who bring nothing but negativity. You stop allowing outside forces to dictate your inner state. You become unshakable, untouchable, and completely at peace. The world is full of distractions, and most of them come in the form of people who bring unnecessary drama into your life. They don't come to add value. They don't come to bring wisdom. They don't come to offer anything meaningful. They come with problems. They come with gossip. They come with toxicity. And the moment you entertain it, you let them steal a piece of your peace. You allow their chaos to become your focus. But the strongest thing you can do is protect your energy. Refuse to participate in conversations that drain you. Walk away from arguments that serve no purpose. Distance yourself from people who thrive on negativity. Because when you let these things into your life, you are making a trade. You are exchanging your calm for their chaos. You are giving up your peace just to be part of their drama. And that is never a trade worth making. The more you choose peace, the less nonsense you tolerate. The more you value your energy, the more selective you become about who has access to it. And in doing so, you create a life that is built on clarity, purpose, and inner strength. Some people will never understand why you are so unbothered. They will wonder why you don't react. They will be confused by your silence. They will try everything to get under your skin. But what they don't realize is that peace is power. The ability to stay calm in the face of nonsense is strength. The ability to walk away from drama is wisdom. And the ability to control your emotions instead of letting others control them is freedom. When you no longer allow yourself to be easily disturbed, you gain the upper hand. When you no longer engage in every battle, you keep your energy intact. And when you stop letting other people dictate your mood, you take back your power. Too many people spend their lives reacting. They let small things ruin their entire day. They let meaningless arguments steal their focus. But the moment you decide that peace is more valuable than proving a point, you stop engaging in things that don't serve you. You stop allowing people with no real significance to disrupt your inner world. You learn to protect your peace at all costs. Protecting your peace is not about ignoring problems. It's about choosing which problems deserve your attention. Not everything is worth your time. Not every battle needs to be fought. Not every situation requires your response. And that is where most people go wrong. They think they have to react to everything. They think they have to defend themselves at every turn. They think they have to argue, prove, explain, justify. But that is a never-ending cycle of exhaustion. It keeps you trapped in a constant state of stress. It keeps you entangled in other people's mess. But when you choose peace, you choose freedom. You free yourself from the weight of unnecessary battles. You free yourself from the stress of pointless arguments. You free yourself from the negativity that others try to bring into your life. And that is the real power. Not reacting is power. Walking away is power. Refusing to be bothered by nonsense is power. And once you master that, once you learn to prioritize your peace above all else, you become untouchable. You become unstoppable. You become a person who cannot be shaken by the temporary noise of other people's drama. The most valuable lesson you will ever learn is that your peace is worth more than any argument, any drama, any nonsense that people try to bring your way. You don't owe anyone a reaction. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't owe anyone access to your energy. And the moment you accept that, the moment you stop trying to prove yourself to people who don't even matter, you set yourself free. Free from the burden of unnecessary stress, free from the chaos of other people's problems, free from the emotional exhaustion that comes with engaging in things that do not serve you. The more you value your peace, the more you will see how much time you wasted on things that never really matter. The more you protect your peace, the more you will realize that most of the battles you used to fight were never worth fighting. And when you finally reach that place where your peace is your priority, where your energy is protected, where your emotions are no longer controlled by others, you will understand the true meaning of power. And that is a power no one can take from you. Your emotions are sacred. They are not something to be handed out freely to anyone who demands them. They are not something to be wasted on people who have not earned the right to access them. Too many people walk around with open doors to their emotions, allowing anyone and everyone to walk in and take whatever they want. And that is why they feel drained. That is why they feel exhausted. Because they have given too much of themselves to people who never valued them in the first place. You have to understand that not everyone deserves to know how you feel. Not everyone deserves to be in the depths of your heart. Some people are only there to take, to manipulate, to use your emotions against you. And if you are not careful, they will drain you until you have nothing left. You must protect yourself. You must learn to be selective with who has access to your emotional world. Some people only come into your life to see how much they can take before they leave. And the only way to stop that cycle is to guard your emotions like the valuable treasure they are. There are people who pretend to care just to get close enough to learn your weaknesses. They want to know your fears, your doubts, your struggles, not because they care, but because they want leverage. They want to use your emotions against you when it benefits them. And if you are too open, too trusting, too quick to let people in, you will find yourself at the mercy of those who never truly had good intentions. That is why you must be intentional about who has access to your emotions. You don't have to tell everyone how you feel. You don't have to explain your every thought. You don't have to be emotionally available to people who have not proven themselves worthy. The more you guard your emotions, the more peace you will have. The more careful you are about who you open up to, the more control you will maintain over your life. Because the wrong person with access to your emotions is dangerous. They can manipulate you. They can twist your words. They can turn your own feelings against you. And that is a risk you cannot afford to take. Emotional strength is not about being cold. It is not about shutting everyone out. It is about knowing who is truly deserving of your emotional energy. There will be people in your life who genuinely care, who genuinely want the best for you. Those people deserve access. They have earned it through loyalty, consistency, and genuine effort. But then there are others who only pretend to care when it benefits them. They are there when they need something. They are there when they can gain from your kindness. And when the tables turn, when you need them, they disappear. These are the people you must guard yourself against. Because when you let the wrong people into your emotional world, you are giving them power over you. You are giving them the ability to affect your mood, your thoughts, your self-worth. And that is why boundaries are necessary. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe everyone a piece of your heart. Some people are better kept at a distance, no matter how much they pretend to care. The biggest mistake you can make is thinking that just because someone asks how you are, they actually care. Some people ask just to gather information. They want to know your struggles, not to support you, but to gossip about you. They want to hear about your pain, not to help, but to use it against you later. That is why you must move carefully. You must be mindful of who you confide in. Not everyone who smiles in your face has good intentions. Not everyone who calls you their friend is rooting for you. Some people only want access to your emotions so they can control you. And when you give them that access too easily, you set yourself up for disappointment. You start expecting loyalty from people who were never capable of giving it. You start believing that just because you care, they will care too. But the truth is, not everyone loves like you do. Not everyone respects emotions the way you do. And that is why you must guard yourself. Because if you don't, you will spend your life giving your heart to people who only want to break it. The more you learn to guard your emotions, the stronger you become. You stop reacting to everything. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve an explanation. You stop letting every little thing affect your mood. And in doing so, you regain control over your life, because the person who controls your emotions controls you. If someone can make you angry, they control you. If someone can ruin your day with a few words, they control you. If someone can manipulate your feelings to get what they want, they control you. And that is why emotional discipline is key. You cannot be out here giving everyone power over how you feel. You cannot be so open that anyone can walk into your life and change your mood with their words or their actions. Protect yourself. Protect your peace. Not everyone deserves to know what's on your heart. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest thoughts. Some people will only take that information and use it against you. And once you understand that, you will become much more careful about who you allow into your emotional space. People will try to make you feel guilty for guarding your emotions. They will say you've changed. They will call you distant, cold, unavailable, but that's only because they no longer have easy access to manipulate you. That's only because they can no longer pull you into their nonsense. And that is a good thing, because the truth is, when you set boundaries, the wrong people will always get upset. The ones who were using you will be the first to complain. The ones who benefited from your emotional availability will be the first to say you've become selfish. But don't let that shake you, because your emotions are not a public playground. They are not something to be used and discarded by people who don't even value you. When you protect yourself, you will lose some people. You will distance yourself from certain relationships. But that is necessary. Not everyone was meant to stay. Not everyone was meant to have full access to you. Some people only came to take, and once they realize they can no longer do that, they will leave. And that's okay. Let them go. Your emotional energy is valuable. It is something you must preserve. If you keep giving and giving without caution, you will end up empty. You will end up drained. And the worst part is, when you finally have nothing left to give, most of the people who took from you will be nowhere to be found. They will have moved on to the next person they can drain. That is why you must be intentional about where you invest your emotions. You don't owe everyone your attention. You don't owe everyone your vulnerability. Choose wisely who you give your heart to. Pay attention to people's actions, not just their words. A person who truly cares about you will never take advantage of your emotions. They will never use your kindness against you. They will never manipulate your feelings for their own benefit. But the wrong people will do exactly that. They will take all they can. And when you finally set boundaries, they will try to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. But don't fall for that. Your emotional well-being is your responsibility, and you must protect it at all costs. Guarding your emotions does not mean shutting yourself off from the world. It means being wise about who gets access. It means understanding that not everyone has good intentions. It means refusing to let people drain you just because they feel entitled to your energy. And when you truly embrace that, you will experience a level of peace that you have never known before. You will no longer be easily swayed by people's opinions. You will no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. You will no longer waste time trying to explain your emotions to people who don't even care. You will move in silence. You will choose who gets to be part of your inner world. And in doing so, you will protect your peace, your energy, and your heart. Because at the end of the day, the most valuable thing you have is your emotional well-being. And if you give it away too freely, you will always find yourself empty. But when you guard it, when you are selective, when you protect yourself, you will be unstoppable. There is a misconception that the loudest person in the room is the strongest, that the one who speaks the most commands the most power. But the truth is, real strength does not need to announce itself. Real strength is quiet. It moves with confidence, not noise. The ones who always feel the need to dominate the conversation, who always have to be seen and heard, are often the weakest. They are trying to compensate for something. They are trying to hide their insecurities behind volume. They believe that if they speak louder, if they make their presence overwhelming, people will assume they are in control. But true power is never forced. It is never about how much attention you can grab. It is about how much control you have over yourself. The strongest person in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove themselves. They do not seek validation from others. They do not need to be the center of attention. They observe, they analyze, they speak only when necessary. And when they do, people listen. Because their words are not empty. They do not speak just to be heard. They speak with intention, with clarity, with purpose. When you learn the power of silence, you become untouchable. You no longer react to every little thing. You do not feel the need to argue with people just to prove a point. You do not waste your energy trying to convince those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You learn that silence is often more powerful than words. It makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to sit with their own thoughts, their own actions. The loud ones, the ones who always need to be talking, cannot handle silence. It exposes them. It makes them feel insecure. That is why they always have to fill the space with words. They talk over people. They shout. They exaggerate. Because deep down they are afraid that if they stop talking, people will see right through them. But the truly strong, the ones who understand their power, do not fear silence. They embrace it. They use it as a tool. They let their actions speak for them. They do not need to broadcast their every move because they know that real impact does not come from noise. It comes from presence, from discipline, from control. There is something intimidating about a person who does not feel the need to explain themselves. Someone who does not react emotionally, who does not engage in petty arguments, who does not seek validation from others. That kind of person unsettles people. Because most are used to loud reactions. They are used to people getting defensive, getting emotional, feeling the need to prove a point. So when they come across someone who is simply unbothered, who moves in silence, who does not give them the reaction they are looking for, they do not know how to handle it. That is power. That is control. The one who can remain silent in the face of chaos is the one who holds the real power. Because they are not controlled by emotions. They are not easily shaken. They do not let the noise around them dictate their moves. They know that the strongest move is often no move at all. The moment you stop reacting to every little thing, the moment you realize that you do not have to explain yourself to everyone, is the moment you gain real control over your life. People who talk too much often reveal their own weaknesses without even realizing it. They expose their fears, their insecurities, their need for validation. They talk because they are uncomfortable with silence. Because they fear being ignored, because they need constant reassurance. But the ones who are truly strong do not seek approval from the outside world. They do not need to be seen or heard all the time. They know that their power comes from within, not from how many people acknowledge them. The world respects those who move in silence. The world pays attention to those who do not demand attention, because when they finally speak, their words carry weight. They do not waste time with meaningless chatter. They do not feel the need to constantly defend themselves. They choose their words carefully. They speak only when it matters. And because they are so selective, people listen. People respect the quiet ones, the disciplined ones who do not give their energy away for free. They move differently. They command a different level of respect. And that respect is not given, it is earned. The loudest people are often the most easily controlled because their emotions dictate their actions. They react without thinking. They speak without considering the consequences. They are predictable. And when you are predictable, you are easy to manipulate. But the one who stays quiet, who moves strategically, who does not reveal their every thought, is the one who truly holds the power. People do not know what they are thinking. They cannot predict their next move. They are a mystery. And that makes them dangerous. That makes them powerful. Because the moment people think they have figured you out, they start underestimating you. They think they know how to get under your skin, how to provoke a reaction. But when you stay silent, when you do not give them the response they are looking for, they lose control. They do not know how to handle someone who is unaffected. And that is why the strongest person in the room is rarely the one making the most noise. It is the one who remains calm, who remains focused, who does not waste energy on things that do not matter. Silence is a weapon. It can make people uncomfortable. It can make them question themselves. It forces them to reveal their own insecurities. When you stay quiet, when you refuse to engage in unnecessary conversations, you force people to think. And most people do not like to think. They like to react. They like to speak without listening. But the one who listens more than they speak, the one who observes before they act, is always 10 steps ahead, because they gather information. They see things others miss. They do not get caught up in the noise. They remain focused on what actually matters, and in doing so, they gain an advantage. They are not controlled by outside opinions. They are not easily swayed by the emotions of the moment. They move with precision. They understand that silence can be more powerful than words, that restraint can be stronger than reaction. And because they have mastered control over themselves, they are not easily manipulated. They are not easily shaken. They do not waste time proving themselves to people who are not even worth their energy. The people who talk the most often know the least. They speak to impress, not to inform. They want to appear knowledgeable, but their words are empty. They speak in circles, hoping that if they say enough, people will believe them. But the ones who truly know, the ones who truly understand, do not feel the need to prove anything. They let their actions speak. They let their results show their worth. They are not interested in being the loudest. They are interested in being the most effective. And that is the difference between real strength and false confidence. The ones who are truly strong do not seek attention. They do not need to be seen or heard all the time. They are content with working in silence, with building in private, with letting their success speak for itself. And because of that, they always come out on top. Because they do not waste time on meaningless conversations. They do not get distracted by the opinions of others. They do not feel the need to be validated. They know who they are. And that kind of confidence, that kind of control is rare. When you learn to stay quiet, to move in silence, to observe more than you speak, you become untouchable. People will wonder what you are thinking. They will try to figure you out. They will try to provoke you just to get a reaction. But when you do not give them what they want, they lose their power. They do not know how to handle someone who is not easily shaken. And that is why silence is dangerous. It forces people to confront themselves. It forces them to deal with their own thoughts. It makes them uncomfortable. And in that discomfort, they reveal who they really are. The loudest person in the room is always the weakest, because they rely on noise to feel important. They rely on attention to feel powerful. But true strength does not need validation. True power does not need to be announced. It's quiet. It is controlled. It is intentional. And when you master that, when you learn to move in silence, when you understand that your strength is not in how much you say, but in how much you control yourself, you will never be easily defeated. Being unbothered does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you walk through life ignoring people, acting as if nothing matters. That is not strength, that is avoidance. True emotional intelligence is understanding what deserves your energy and what does not. It is knowing when to engage and when to let things go. Some people think being unbothered means being cold, disconnected, or indifferent, but that is not the case. The strongest people are the ones who are aware of their emotions yet refuse to let those emotions control them. They do not ignore problems. They choose their battles wisely. They understand that not everything requires a reaction, not every insult demands a response, and not every person is worth an explanation. That is emotional intelligence. It is mastering the art of control, knowing that your peace is worth more than temporary validation. It is realizing that most conflicts are distractions designed to pull you away from your path. When you are truly unbothered, it is not because you are blind to what is happening around you. It is because you are wise enough to see that some things simply do not deserve your attention. Emotional intelligence is about mastering your reactions. It is about understanding that the way you respond to things determines how much power they have over you. People who lack emotional intelligence are easily manipulated because they react to everything. They get angry when provoked, defensive when challenged, and hurt when ignored. But the ones who are truly unbothered do not fall into that trap. They recognize manipulation when they see it. They know that people who want to disturb their peace will do anything to get a reaction out of them. And because they understand this, they refuse to engage. They remain calm, collected, and in control. That is not ignorance, that is wisdom. It is the ability to separate what is important from what is meaningless. It is the awareness that most people who try to upset you are dealing with their own issues, their own insecurities, and their own lack of self-control. The emotionally intelligent person does not waste time trying to correct or confront every situation. They conserve their energy for what truly matters. They know that peace is not given, it is protected. There is a difference between indifference and emotional discipline. Indifference is when you simply do not care. It is when you shut down, refusing to acknowledge the world around you. That is not strength, that is avoidance. But emotional discipline is different. It is when you care deeply about yourself, your peace, and your well-being, so much so that you refuse to let outside forces disturb your inner world. It is when you are aware of everything happening around you, yet you remain unaffected because you have trained yourself to stay calm under pressure. The unbothered person is not someone who does not feel, they feel deeply. They just do not allow those feelings to dictate their actions. They take a step back, analyze the situation, and respond only if necessary. They do not get caught up in unnecessary drama. They do not let toxic people pull them into negativity, and they do not waste energy on things they cannot control. That is the true essence of being unbothered. It is not about pretending problems do not exist. It is about understanding that not every problem is yours to solve. The people who are always in conflict, always engaged in arguments, always emotionally drained, are the ones who lack emotional intelligence. They take everything personally. They feel the need to defend themselves against every insult, every rumor, every misunderstanding. And in doing so, they exhaust themselves. They give their power away. But the ones who are emotionally intelligent do not operate like that. They know that most of what people say and do is a reflection of them, not of you. They know that people project their insecurities, their pain, and their frustrations onto others. And because they understand this, they do not take things personally. They do not waste time trying to change people's minds. They do not feel the need to correct every false perception about them. They stay focused. They stay disciplined. They stay unbothered, not because they do not care, but because they know that their energy is too valuable to waste on meaningless battles. They recognize that peace is a choice, and every time they refuse to react to negativity, they are choosing themselves. Emotional intelligence is the ability to see beyond the surface. It is knowing that not everything is as it seems. When someone insults you, they are not just expressing an opinion, they are revealing their own insecurities. When someone tries to provoke you, they are not just being difficult, they are trying to control your emotions. But the emotionally intelligent person does not fall for these games. They understand human nature. They know that most people who try to bring others down are doing so because they feel low themselves. And instead of reacting with anger, instead of engaging in pointless fights, they step back. They observe. They protect their peace. That is what it means to be unbothered. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about understanding it so deeply that you refuse to let it control you. It is knowing that people will try to test you, that life will throw challenges at you, but you have the power to decide how you respond. And in that decision lies your strength. Your ability to remain calm under pressure is what sets you apart. Some people think that being unbothered means being passive, that it means letting people walk all over you. But that is not true. The emotionally intelligent person knows when to speak up and when to stay silent. They know when to take action and when to walk away. They do not engage in unnecessary battles, but when something truly matters, they stand their ground. They are not weak, they are selective. They are not passive, they are strategic. And because of this, they rarely lose their peace. They do not allow small things to disturb them. They do not react emotionally to everything that happens. They remain composed even in the face of adversity. That is why they are so powerful. They do not let life shake them. They do not let people control them. They move with intention. They operate with wisdom. They know that not everything deserves their attention, and because of that, they are free. Free from unnecessary stress. Free from meaningless conflicts. Free from the emotional chaos that consumes so many people. Being unbothered is not about shutting people out. It is about setting boundaries. It is about knowing where to draw the line. It is about recognizing when something is no longer serving you and having the strength to walk away. The emotionally intelligent person does not waste time in toxic environments. They do not entertain negative conversations. They do not surround themselves with people who drain their energy. They are mindful of their surroundings, mindful of their company, mindful of what they allow into their space. They understand that protecting their peace is not selfish, it is necessary. And because they understand this, they are careful about who they give access to. They do not allow everyone to affect them. They do not engage in every argument, every debate, every conflict. They choose wisely. And in doing so, they maintain their inner peace. They do not allow the chaos of the world to disrupt their spirit. They do not give their emotions away for free. They remain grounded, centered, and in control. That is true power. That is true emotional intelligence. When you become emotionally intelligent, you start seeing things differently. You stop reacting to negativity. You stop allowing other people's opinions to affect you. You stop engaging in meaningless battles. You realize that your peace is worth more than being right, more than proving a point, more than winning an argument. You start valuing your energy, you start protecting your emotions, you start moving differently. People will notice. They will test you, they will try to provoke you. But when you do not react the way they expect, when you remain unshaken, they lose their power. That is why being unbothered is so powerful. It shifts the control back to you. It allows you to dictate your own peace. It gives you the freedom to focus on what truly matters. And that is what sets emotionally intelligent people apart. They do not waste time on what is beneath them. They do not entertain distractions. They do not give the energy away to things that do not serve them. They remain focused, disciplined, and untouchable. Because they know that real strength is not in how much you react, it is in how much you refuse to be controlled. When people see that they cannot control you, they will try to provoke you. They will say things designed to get a reaction, push your buttons, and test your patience. The moment you refuse to engage, they become even more frustrated. They cannot stand the fact that you are not moved by their words, their actions, or their attempts to break your composure. That is when you know you have power. The more they try to provoke you, the more you prove you are untouchable. It is a game, and the only way to win is not to play. The moment you react, you give them control. You let them dictate your emotions, your energy, and your peace. But when you remain calm, when you stay collected, when you walk away without a word, you strip them of their power. That is when they realize they never had control over you in the first place. That is when they understand that no matter how hard they try, they will never be able to shake you. That is when you prove that their words are meaningless, their actions are irrelevant, and their efforts to disturb your peace are wasted. Most people live their lives constantly reacting to others. They allow people to push them into anger, frustration, and emotional chaos. They take every insult personally, every criticism to heart, and every negative word as an attack. But the ones who are truly untouchable do not operate like that. They have mastered the art of detachment. They understand that when someone tries to provoke them, it is not really about them, it is about the other person's insecurity. People who are happy, at peace, and confident do not feel the need to disturb others. It is only those who are miserable, insecure, and lost who try to bring others down. And when you recognize this, you stop reacting. You stop letting their words affect you. You stop engaging in their drama. You become a mirror reflecting their own negativity back at them without ever letting it touch you. That is what it means to be untouchable. It is not about being emotionless. It is about being in complete control of your emotions. It is about knowing that the moment you react, you hand your power over to them. And that is something you will never do. The ones who try the hardest to provoke you are the ones who are most threatened by you. They see your strength, your confidence, your ability to stay unshaken. And it bothers them. They cannot understand why you do not react the way they expect. They are used to controlling people with words, with actions, with manipulation. But when they meet someone who refuses to be controlled, it throws them off balance. That is why they keep trying. That is why they push harder. They want to see if there is a limit, a weakness, a crack in your armor. But every time you refuse to engage, every time you stay silent, every time you walk away without giving them the reaction they crave, you prove them wrong. You show them that you are not like the others. You show them that no matter what they do, they cannot touch you. That is power. That is control. That is what separates the weak from the strong. They live for drama. You live for peace. They want chaos. You want clarity. They want to pull you down to their level, but you are too high above them to even notice. Some people believe that reacting makes them strong. They think that yelling, fighting, and proving a point is a sign of power. But the truth is, real strength is in restraint. It is in the ability to stay calm when everything around you is trying to pull you into a storm. It is in the ability to control your emotions rather than letting your emotions control you. That is what makes you untouchable. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing how you respond to it. The world will always test you. People will always try to push your limits. But every time you refuse to engage, every time you remain calm, every time you choose peace over chaos, you win. You show them that no matter what they do, they will never have power over you. That is what makes them angry. That is what drives them crazy. They cannot handle the fact that you do not give them the reaction they want. They cannot stand the fact that no matter how hard they try, they cannot get to you. And that is how you win, by refusing to play their game. When you remain unbothered, people will accuse you of being cold, of not caring, of thinking you are better than them. But that is just their frustration speaking. They do not actually believe those things. They are just upset that they cannot manipulate you. They want to see you lose your temper. They want to see you break. They want to know that they can control your emotions. And when they see that they cannot, they become desperate. They try harder. They push further. But every time you remain still, every time you refuse to react, every time you keep your peace intact, you remind them that their efforts are in vain. That is the greatest victory. Not proving them wrong with words, not getting the last word in an argument, not showing up in a fight, but showing them that no matter what they do, you will never lose yourself. That is the ultimate power. That is the definition of being untouchable. When they realize that nothing they do can break you, they lose interest. They give up. They walk away. And you walk away with your dignity, your power, and your peace completely intact. People will try to make you feel small so that they can feel bigger. They will try to make you doubt yourself so that they can feel powerful. But the moment you stop reacting, the moment you refuse to entertain their negativity, you take that power away from them. You remind them that they cannot control you, that they do not have access to your emotions, that they do not have the ability to disturb your peace. And that is what makes them furious. They thrive on drama. They live for conflict. And when they see that they cannot get it from you, they do not know what to do. They will try every trick, every manipulation, every strategy they can think of to break your composure. But every time you do not respond, every time you do not flinch, every time you remain calm in the face of their chaos, you win. You prove that their attempts are meaningless. You prove that their words have no effect. You prove that their negativity is powerless against you. And in that moment, you become something they never expected, completely and utterly untouchable. Being untouchable is not about arrogance. It is about discipline. It is about knowing yourself so deeply that no one can shake your confidence. It is about being so in control of your emotions that no one can provoke you into reacting. That is what real power looks like. It is not in shouting the loudest. It is not in proving a point. It is in the silence that speaks louder than words. It is in the calm that unsettles those who thrive on conflict. It is in the unshakable confidence that leaves people questioning how they can possibly get to you. And the truth is, they cannot. Because you have mastered yourself. You have mastered your emotions. You have mastered the ability to walk away from negativity without letting it touch you. And that, more than anything, is what makes you truly untouchable. The more they try to provoke you, the more you show them just how unshaken, just how powerful, just how free you truly are. And that is what drives them crazy, because no matter how hard they try, they will never get the reaction they want. And that is the greatest victory of all. Let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand you. Stay unbothered. Stay unshaken. Because the calmest person in the room is